You can complete the game without shooting any guns. Jak II can indeed be completed without shooting a single gun. In fact, there's an entire speedrun category for it called Gunless. I won't spend too much time on it, but by making use of Mars Tomb Skip, the Dark Bomb ability, and some invulnerability glitches, it is possible to beat the entire game without the need for a gun. I'll leave a link to a video that explains it more in the description. You can skip the Protect Kor and Kid mission. After escaping the fortress in the very beginning, Jak is supposed to run into Kor and child Jak and protect them from Crimson guards. However, towards the end of the fortress escape, we can clip out of bounds by grabbing onto this metal pipe. From here, we can drop down into the invisible water and swim into Haven City. Doing this will skip the load trigger for Kor and child Jak and we'll be able to continue through the city. But in doing so, we have skipped the mission that enables Jak's ability to use vehicles when completed. So we are unable to use any vehicles, but regardless, this one is confirmed. There is a hidden image of the game developers in Haven City. If you navigate to this corner in Haven City near the green security blockade, it is possible to spam the jump button while up against this wall and climb it. Eventually, Jak will get high enough to jump over the collision of the wall. Once on the other side, you can zoom into first-person mode and view this hidden image of what I assume to be the developers of the game. I have no idea who these people are, but it would be neat to know what their roles were and what they contributed towards developing the game. If you are on the OpenGoal PC port of the game and have texture dumping enabled, you can find the image in this directory. After escaping the fortress, you can skip straight to the Czech construction site mission. After protecting Kor and child Jak, we can make our way to the construction site door. If we approach the door, nothing happens. We can try the other side, but still nothing happens. However, if we die here, we'll get the checkpoint that spawns us in front of the door. Now if we try the exact same thing, the construction site does load in. We're able to clip in and enter the construction site. But unfortunately, the cutscene trigger is not loaded in, so we are unable to perform the sequence break. This one is busted. Fun fact, if we try the same thing in the August 18th, 2003 review build of the game, which is exactly 1 week older than the final build, the sequence break actually works. It's kind of funny to think that the developers caught the possibility of this sequence break at the last minute and patched it in the final release. If it wasn't patched, the any % speedrun time for Jak II would have dropped from 53 minutes to just under 5 minutes. You can skip having to fight Baron Praxis in Mars Tomb. At the end of Mars Tomb, there is a boss fight with Baron Praxis. During the fight, we can get on the jetboard and jump back to the door at the entrance to the fight. Once here, we can get off the jetboard and do a punch uppercut spin underneath one of the pillars in the doorframe and clip back into the main hall of the tomb. As we make it back to the tomb entrance, the door to leave does not open. Even if we get to the other side of it, nothing loads in. The game knows that we have not completed the fight with Baron Praxis and it will not let us leave until we do so. Alas, it is busted. It is possible to steal the jetboard before obtaining it legitimately. Our first introduction to the jetboard is when Kira has us test a prototype of it in the stadium. At the end of the challenge, we are required to put the jetboard back, and we don't see it again until the Catch Scouts in Haven Forest mission. But here's an idea. What if we don't return the jetboard? What if we just leave once we grab it? Well, the hover glitch is just the thing we need for committing grand theft. During the tutorial on how to use the jetboard, we can simply hover through the roof back into Haven City. From here, we can complete all the other missions with the jetboard until we are forced to give it back to complete Kira's challenge. So yes, we can indeed steal the jetboard, but not forever. Leaning up against the wall will stop a guard pursuit. There's a mechanic in the game where if Jak leans up against the wall for long enough, he will put his back to the wall as if he's hiding. If Jak does this during a pursuit, but the guards can still see him, then it will have no effect and the guards will attack him. But if Jak breaks line of sight with all the guards and then leans up against the wall, the guards will no longer be able to see Jak and they will run right past him. If there are guards nearby and Jak moves away from the wall, the guards will regain line of sight and continue the pursuit. Waiting long enough up against the wall will eventually result in the pursuit ending. You can skip the race with Erol by saving and loading once the race starts. There is a mission that I am sure a lot of you either hate or hated at one point due to its difficulty, where Jak has to race Erol through the streets of Haven City. What if I told you that you could have skipped this mission the entire time by simply saving and loading before beginning the mission? Well, I would be lying, since saving and loading does not skip this mission. Unfortunately, busted. It is possible to play as Daxter for more than one mission. There's only one mission in Jak II where you play as Daxter. This is in Mars Tomb during the first test of manhood when you have to run from the Widowmaker spider. Before entering the spider chase, we can get out of bounds here and dive into a pool of dark eco to get invulnerability. We then take fall damage by ground pounding from high up and enter a different invulnerability state where we can now interact with the environment. This invulnerability travels with us into the Daxter mission and allows us to bypass the giant stone ball rolling towards us. Now we are free to leave and continue the game as Daxter. Just kidding. The game crashes if we get too far from Daxter's mission area. Although we couldn't get it to happen in the vanilla game, there was recently a mod created called Daxter II that allows us to play the entire game as Daxter. You can try out Daxter II as well as many other mods for yourself by visiting jakmods.dev and downloading the unofficial mod launcher for OpenGoal. You can play in Sandover Village from the first game. In the intro cutscene, Jak and the other main characters are seen in Sandover Village sometime after defeating Gol and Maya. They then travel to the future and the story for Jak II begins. Now, is it possible to somehow get into the Sandover Village level that we just saw in the intro? If you're playing on a PS2, you can start a new game and open and close the disc tray during the intro cutscene. This will simply just put you in Sandover Village. If you're on a digital copy, you will need to activate cheat mode, or debug mode as some people call it, and enter FreeCam by pressing L1, R1, L2, R2. Then, skip the cutscene and Jak will spawn in Sandover Village. I'm not sure why, but some of the Scoutfly boxes from the first game have been replaced with Crimson Guard boxes, as if the player was intended to be here. Jak II Sandover is confirmed. The Peacemaker can shoot more than one shot at a time. The Peacemaker is the final weapon mod Jak gets in his arsenal. It fires a single charged electric ball that one-hit KOs any normal enemy. But is it possible to shoot more than one ball at a time? You can shoot up to 5 charged shots at a time. If you high jump spin with L1X circle, then press down on the D-pad to switch to the blaster mod, hold R1, and while still holding R1, press right on the D-pad to switch back to the Peacemaker, Jak will charge 5 Peacemaker shots for some reason. I have no idea why this works, it just does. There is one open world zoomer that has a faster top speed than all the others. If you've played Jak II before, you'll probably already know that the one-seater bike zoomers tend to be quicker and have better handling than the larger multi-seat zoomers. But is there a single zoomer that is faster than the others? If we look under the hood, we can see that every zoomer except the Hellcat Cruiser has a max speed of 40 meters. Per second? Per minute? I have no idea, just 40 meters. There are other factors like drag, engine response rate, and handling that make the one-seat zoomers feel like they are faster. But this one is busted.